Greetings, friends. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. It's Monday here, so beginning of the week. We'll take it a little bit slow here, but the important thing is oh, wait a minute. This YouTube channel is for indie game developers. We got to establish some kind of introduction here on these videos. This YouTube channel is for indie game developers. As you're following our story, also an indie game developer story here on what it looks like to create a game, to ship a game, to market a game, to create a Kickstarter for a game, all that stuff that happens. And hopefully, what you get out of this is an inside look. And look, we can't promise that this is going to be a successful successful launch or game, but we can promise is we'll be as transparent as we can on the process. I'm using Figma, user experience designer, not even from the game indie game scene, user experience designer, and I'm using Figma to design this game, export the assets, and got a whole bunch of people. Oh man, this is not even a proper intro to anything. Let's just go into a backstory, 30 seconds, high level. We got invited to Blackthorn Prod. You might be familiar with the YouTube channel. It's a fantastic YouTube channel. It's huge. It's one of the biggest YouTube channels on indie gaming. And you probably saw a couple of their videos. 5 game developers create a game without communication. Well, we communicated. We broke every rule. We got kicked out. No, we didn't get kicked out, but at the end of the project, like it got so massive, it was impossible to edit the video. So we're taking the long route of actually just shipping the game on Steam. So it's the process of being shipped as what do they call it? A demo. And we started a YouTube channel because if you're gonna create an indie game, you probably already know this by now. You got to have some kind of following. So that's what this content is for. And I figured, and I'm the guy tasked with that job on the team. So I figured make it fun, show off maybe a lot of the designs that have already been created, and as I add more to the world. And then secondly, probably even more important is through the process of designing and developing this game, we realized like, man, like it sucks. I'm new to the game, so I'm like, man, this sucks. Like building an indie game, we're using Unity. I can only imagine it's probably the same experience with other engines as well too. It's like it's really hard. It's not the engine. It's not like throwing shaded engines or anything like that or process, but the whole process is quite involved. And again, like me going through this for the first time, it's not just designing the game, but it's like redesigning it as you're playing the game and actually experiencing it. Like, oh, this isn't fun. Like it looks great on paper, but it's not fun when you're actually playing it. So redesigning the game and then going through and play testing it, and then even after you have a decent demo, you still have to go through the process of like marketing the game and helping it find its audience. So we're like, oh, okay, that's the thing. So again, user experience background. So I'm like, there should be a platform. I already know there's Itch. And I already know there's Steam. But I feel like Itch helps people. Obviously, they have fantastic game jams. It's a really beautiful app as well too. But I feel like that's where people go to maybe upload their game so that other people can play it, or maybe upload their game jams, or maybe follow game jams and join game jams. And I feel like Steam is the place you go to upload your demo, which is what we're doing right now. But there's like a whole process before that, and there's a process after that as well too. Which over the weekend I was thinking, I was like, there should be in this app. So far, I've designed out like the process and the experience of searching for games. So I feel like that feels pretty good. You get tags and categories, so that should help people quickly find games, quickly allow their games to be found as well too. I wanted to say more, but I'll save it for another time. There's a screen and experience for hosting your game dev diaries. So I feel like that's a really important part just to keep you motivated, because this isn't like a 30-day thing, right? This is more like a 30-week thing, in some cases even 30-month thing. So it's a long process, and it helps if you can kind of log your journey. It might be a little bit encouraging and what's the word I'm looking for? Raise morale of the team to be able to have your game diaries here. But not only that, but people can follow it along. And if they feel like at any point that you're stuck, or you really made a terrible decision, or maybe you made a great decision, they want to validate that, I feel like it'll give people a little bit of a view into your process, and maybe even be able to collaborate. Speaking of which, probably my favorite thing of all this, the thing that justifies this application being built, is this idea of being able to request people joining your game. Either you request to join somebody else's game, or you just open up a role and say, man, we could really use another Unity dev or Godot dev, or another designer, another music and sound engineer, or maybe another writer, or just QA testers. And I haven't gotten into this yet, but I feel like there should be some kind of way to split equity. You know what I mean? Like offer equity or offer percentage of the game. Like, hey, if I join your game, what's my cut? And I feel like if you can just set it up as a setting, that'd be really cool, or at least have it in the posting. And it should be transparent that way as well too. So, you know, in case people forget. And I don't know if you use LinkedIn, but that's kind of how I'm envisioning the application being in terms of like searching for people. You can search for people that have experience in specific game engines, or work in specific time zones, or I don't know, maybe years of experience, or number of games they worked on, or even location. Even location might be helpful as well too. So that's how I'm imagining that. And then there's like a whole other feature set to like live classes. Over the weekend, I was thinking of launch parties. Could you imagine that? Like if a group or an individual goes through the process and they've shipped their demo, or they've shipped to what's the other thing called after demo? Sorry, you'll have to pardon me. New to the game. Oh man, what is it called? After demo, before full release, early access. Ooh, early access. So imagine if you're shipping to demo or early access or even full release. Imagine if those games specifically get highlighted in the homepage as featured. Not because they're better than any other games, but because that's like a critical time that you really, as a community, want to help and support that team. So anyways, that's like the basics of how I'm thinking a team might benefit from an application like this. All right, I'm going to stop the video here because I was going to do a game play and showcase another indie game developer, but I feel like maybe this video should just be its own separate thing. And cut. By the way, we have no video editor, so this is rough. It's going to be a rough ride. Look, it's going to be a very rough ride. So I hope you get some benefits out of this, because it's not going to be a smooth ride, but appreciate you being part of the journey. Cheers.